You're listening to JPR.
Jewish Public Radio.
Jewish Public what?
Radio.
Ready what?
Can't you hear me? Can you turn down the music a little bit? It's way too loud in here.
I couldn't hear what you said.
I think he said Jewish Public Radio.
You're listening to Jewish Public Radio.
JPR.
The radio of the future. You're listening to JPR.
We are thrilled that you tuned into our show.
If you listen to our show today, you will feel more relaxed.
A little bit more comfortable.
Less worried.
And your parents,
Your grandparents.
they will absolutely love you more.
So much more than they did before.
Not that they don't love you now,
I can't say.
but they would love you more.
Definitely more.
So make your family proud.
And you might meet a nice Jewish boy.
You're a nice Jewish girl.
You might meet one or the other.
So listen to JPR
Do a mitzvah.
and share it.
Today on the show, we have schmoozing gossip news, local, national, and international news from your area and around the globe.
We also have the international national news, which is very local and very, very poignant, close to home.
Very close to home.
And today we'll also be having a guest call-in on our Chai Listeners section. Who do we have today?
Rabbi Solomon Schechter is going to be discussing the history of the dreidel.
Oh, it's a fascinating talk. It's fascinating. I love it.
Oh, the Chai Listeners section is such a good part of our show because people get to hear wonderful stories.
And they hear it from the experts. Rabbi Solomon Schechter is very well known.
Just like you're listening to your grandmother, grandpa.
Oh, it's great. It's beautiful.
Bubby and Zadie telling stories.
Does it get any better? And we're gonna close.
It gets better. It gets better.
It doesn't get better?
It gets better with the Kibbutz Corner.
All right. And where we end the show with kibitzing till we close.
So kibbutzing till we close. It's like when your whole extended family gets together for an event and everybody's arguing about something.
So you know what we're doing already, but we do it in our own style. It's beautiful.
So we pick a topic and we argue.
Oh, so what's the topic this week?
This week we're going to talk about the Jewish star because everybody wears it around their neck and Hanukkah's coming and nobody knows what it means.
Well, if Hanukkah's coming, we should talk about if you like sour cream and applesauce better on your latkes.
No, we're going to talk about the Jewish star.
How can you talk about Hanukkah if you're not talking about applesauce and sour cream?
How can you talk about food at a time like this?
We're Jews. We talk about food all the time.
Chime into the Kibbutz Corner and stay tuned because coming up next is schmoozing gossip. It's like sitting around the dinner table with your own family.
You're gonna love it. This week's episode is brought to you by your local community center. Please swing by. It'll make your grandma so happy.
You're listening to JPR.
Jewish Public Radio.
Jewish Public what?
Radio.
Ready what?
Can't you hear me? Can you turn down the music a little bit? It's way too loud in here.
I couldn't hear what you said.
I think he said Jewish Public Radio.
You're listening to Jewish Public Radio.
JPR.
The radio of the future. Welcome to Schmoozing Gossip News,
where we're going to talk about all sorts of news, local, national, international. We'll hit it all.
Today we'll start with local news in your local town today, that at the mall, I saw Molly and Summer having lunch today.
They were having a nice soup and salad at the local store. And, they really should eat more. I don't
think that they have, it's not good to not eat that much. And and they didn't even finish the salad. Unbelievable.
What could be bad about adding a little bit of weight?
Nothing at all. When they're going around raising money for the local community and passing out the papers, and Summer gave me the paper and the thing and the talk and the schmutzing and the this and the that and the other thing, and I thought to myself, I'll give a donation, but why are you eating a salad?
Why are you eating a salad?
What did your mother
if you're going to come up and ask for money, the least I can do is squeeze your cheeks. And if there's no cheeks to squeeze...
What am I going to squeeze?
What am I going to
squeeze? Tuchus? I mean, come on.
You can't do that.
In national news today, somewhere in the West,
we heard that someone was eating a corned beef sandwich without rye bread.
They didn't have rye bread. Unfortunately, it was at the Goldberg twins' bar mitzvah rehearsal dinner.
It was a sad sign. You can't have a corned beef sandwich on white bread.
I don't understand how you could do such a thing. It makes me feel uncomfortable.
It does.
But luckily in the East today,
we heard that Shmuel was picking up a whole bunch of pickles at the local store.
Thank goodness, because he just had surgery, and they said that it may not have gone good, but his cardiologist is the same as Michael Jordan's.
Very famous. Not the basketball playing Michael Jordan, but just as famous of a Michael Jordan.
He's a very famous Michael Jordan also.
He's very good. Now, the Michael Jordan guy likes the pickles sour. Shmuel, our friend Shmuel, he's more of a half sour
He's a half sour kind of a guy.
But that's good, while you're recovering from surgery, you don't want to go too crazy.
No, you could get my sugar now. In the South today, it was hot.
It was very hot.
It was too hot
down there. It was hot,
there.
It was humid.
It was so hot outside. You could go outside, you want to die. You're just telling yourself the last thing in the world that you want to think about is the heat. And it's just so hot out there that you can't even imagine how hot it was.
Then you go inside in the air conditioning and you're sweating so much that it's freezing.
And there's a draft and it's breezy, it's uncomfortable.
It's very not good.
In the north today,
we heard it was frigid.
Absolutely freezing.
People are going down south to go avoid the cold.
They're going to the south. People from the north are going south. It's a Michigas. It's nuts.
It's crazy.
People are going Meshuggah.
It's so hard to tell what's going on, but we wish them all the best.
All the best. Coming up next is international news. Meyer, the inner cabinet meets to discuss the possible change in Netanyahu's curtains.
We hear that he has a very drab brown curtain with a very not fitting in carpet.
Uncomfortable when in the office you just want to sit down and relax and think about things, and then the next thing you know, there's just nothing tying the room together.
You can't think about anything because all you think about is how the carpet doesn't fit in the room and how the curtains don't even look good.
Thank God they're meeting to discuss the color of the curtains.
Now, personally, I think they should go with a classic white curtain, maybe a little lace, maybe a nice little gray carpet.
Tune in next time and we'll make sure that we're on top of this international story. Breaking news. U.S. ships were sent into the Mediterranean Sea in case of a change in the salt content of the corned beef sandwiches.
Well, you can't have corned beef sandwich without enough salt.
I don't know if you cannot have them, but they definitely exist. The not salty kind. Sometimes if it's not salty enough, I've actually sent it back.
Well, you can't. For me, the saltier the
better. For you, I haven't seen you eating either corned beef sandwich. You're like a vegetarian.
Look, I have a heart condition.
Your granddaughter, the one with the thing, is changing up your mind.
I got a heart condition, and the doctor told me one pastrami sandwich a week, and I said, hey, what about the corned beef? And he said you shouldn't even have it.
There's nothing better for a heart condition than a nice corned beef sandwich with pastrami on top, lathered in... it's just if you put the deli mustard on top of there, with the chopped liver and some tuna fish, it is fantastic.
I tend to agree. Now, in other news, we hear that the Israeli Air Force has struck 4 times at the local bowling alley.
Strike? What?
Strike
in bowling?
Oh, right, they strike.
When's the last time you came to the men's league?
Well, I try and make it every Tuesday, but then there's the Murder, She Wrote is on Tuesday.
Murder, She Wrote's on Tuesday. It's a very good show.
It never gets old.
Thank God that my grandson's able to roll for me, because my hand with the arthritis, it's very terrible. But I hear that the Israeli Air Force is absolutely wonderful bowlers.
Well, they better be. They have all the help with the bumper balls on the side.
Oh, it's very easy for them.
It's very easy.
Very wonderful.
But we wish them all the best. They
all
need to
the best. Too. There's a red alert siren that sounded in communities across the South because kreplach soup that was on sale through noon ran out at 11:35.
At 11:30. Yeah.
How could you not even on? I don't know.
You hear about the sale on the kreplach soup.
No, the kreplach soup is there and it's gone.
All I can say is I'm thankful it's not a blue alert, because if they were at a
God, it's not a blue alert.
And the Lockies?
Oh
my goodness. You don't
shoot yourself in the face.
Happened.
I'm telling you, it's unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
But I tell you, in entertainment news, that the Iron Dome is the best show in town. They said it's a wonderful film.
Wonderful film. I laughed. There was tears in my eyes at a certain point. It was very well done. The cinematography,
everyone in that film, I could just die. They were so good.
They were so good. It was
such
a
good film.
So talented.
Since Schindler's List, I haven't seen a good movie.
It was a great movie.
Spielberg, he made Lincoln.
Yeah, I hear that he did.
Spielberg made Lincoln. Nice. It was a very good film.
Very good film about the history of the country, but we want to keep up with the current events in this part of the country.
Lots of current events. So in international, national, local news today, who's dating who?
Well, I hear that at the Rosenberg wedding, little Peter was caught in the coat room with.
I heard that was the case, and thank goodness that Lindsay and Jonathan are still together.
Oh, what a great couple!
Such a good couple.
Mwah! They're just so nice.
Oh, mazel tov to the bun in the oven.
All the nachas in the world.
And to Peter, in a completely unrelated story. Well, he was supposedly in we don't have all the information in yet, but the truth of their games at the bar mitzvahs with the girls. I mean, what can you do?
Look, you don't
the children
they
play a game.
Allow it, but they're
playing
the truth of there with nice Jewish couples.
It's nice Jewish girls and boys.
We can only hope that at 13 you find your true love, a nice Jewish girl down the street.
And our feature today in the news, in the international national news, and who's single. Is your grandson still single, Michael?
My grandson is single. Yes, he is.
But I introduced him to so many girls.
Well,
at the thing,
he's 7 years old. He doesn't quite know how to handle talking to the females. But
I spend all of my time trying to introduce him to girls, and the next thing you know, nothing.
He does very good, but all he wants to do is pick his nose around him. I don't get it.
Well, he's got a little bit of time, but you can never start too early.
You can never start too early. We only wish him the best of luck with meeting a nice 7-year-old Jewish girl.
Best of luck. And today, also in international, national, local news, what did Jews in our town do today?
Well, they definitely ate a little breakfast.
They had breakfast today.
Then they went for a little walk. Not too far.
Not a big walk.
Not a big walk. But they didn't have enough energy, so then they had a little lunch.
A little lunch of relaxing.
Little soup. They prepared for the holidays.
Preparing.
And then they had a little nap for a little bit.
Nap, a donation to Jewish Public Radio.
You do what you can.
You do what you can. Thanks for listening to the Schmoozing Gossip News, the international, national, and local news.
And stay tuned for Chai Listeners, where we'll have Rabbi Solomon Schechter, a very, very prominent rabbi, talking about the history of the dreidel. The next section of JPR is brought to you by your mother, who says, "Go to Hillel. What'll it kill you?" Can't you hear me? Can you turn down the music a little bit? It's way too loud.
I couldn't hear what you said.
I think he said Jewish Public Radio.
You're listening to Jewish Public Radio.
JPR.
The radio of the future.
Welcome back to JPR. This week on Chai Listeners, we have Rabbi Solomon Schechter of the center back east. And he is going to be talking about the history of the dreidel. Rabbi Schechter, how are you doing?
Oh, thank you so much, Miguel, for having me on the show.
Well, we're thrilled to have you, and we're very excited because it's a lovely time of the year. Channukah is coming. What are your thoughts on Channukah this year?
Oy, oy, oy. What a wonderful holiday.
So, we agree. What a great holiday. A great time for family and latkes and sour cream. Or applesauce is 50 thing. So we hear that you are an expert on the history of the dreidel.
I remember when the dreidel was invented.
Really?
Absolutely.
Now, my first question on the history of the dreidel would have to be the dreidel. Does it have to be made out of clay?
As a matter of fact, my cousin Oyvind made the first dreidel ever out of clay, and it was his uncle Shmuley that wrote the song as a result of his making of the dreidel.
That is fascinating stuff. I never knew that it was just the first dreidel made out of clay.
Well, I tell you, it was in the Roman times when we were just being persecuted by the people with the mishigas on their hats, with the mohawks or whatever, riding in the horses, and they said, no more celebration of Hanukkah. So it was my cousin that came up with this wonderful plan.
It's a good plan. It works very, very well.
He decided that he would make a small tablet made out of clay that the children would learn the story of Hanukkah.
Very, very interesting.
So he wrote one letter on each side of the tablet to remind the children of the story of Hanukkah.
Wow.
And the Romans, when they walked by, because they were such schmucks, they would think that the children were just playing a game. And it was Oyvind and Shmuley who would say, oh, yeah, it's just a game for gambling. And then they'd walk on. But what was happening was on the street level, in a very, 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 very secret way, we were teaching the children the story of the 8 nights of Hanukkah.
That is just great stuff. How could you think of something that well? Now, my next question. Now, I have seen the game of dreidel played with the peanuts. I've seen it played with the M&Ms. I've seen it played with pennies. What is the proper way and the proper things to gamble with while you're
Sardines.
Sardines.
Oh, that's what we used to play with before. Sardines are so wonderful. A big pile of sardines that you can take away from your child or your cousin or your grandfather. In the game of dreidel, nothing better than it. I remember Oyvind himself said, and I quote, he said to me, young Solomon, if you don't gamble for sardines, you're not gambling for nothing, you little schmuck. That's what he said to me.
Well, how can you not take words like that and believe that they are true? My question is, how do you not eat all the sardines while you're gambling?
Well, that's, I think, the whole idea is that, you can eat while you're playing. So if you just all of a sudden you run out, maybe it wasn't because you lost, maybe it's because you ate them.
At least you were full then.
Absolutely. Oyvind was a very intelligent man.
Now, I believe our final question is, I have seen kids playing when they're spinning the dreidel right side up, and they're spinning the dreidel on the top. Now, is there any laws against this? Because it seems very blasphemous to me.
Well, I remember years later, after my cousin Oyvind died, long past Shmuley's lifetime, I remember there was a cantor, and he was the first to spin the dreidel upside down on the stem, and this immediately struck all of the children in a very specific way, and it started the fad of skateboarding.
Unbelievable. You wouldn't think that Jews are noticed for being in the skateboarding industry, but it doesn't surprise me.
I wasn't surprised at all. I was a good skateboarder myself.
Really?
Absolutely.
Do you still have a skateboard?
Why do I have a skateboard?
Well, that is just great stuff. Well, Rabbi Solomon Schechter, we are just thrilled that you could take time out to come on the first episode of JPR. We couldn't think of anyone better.
Mazel tov with your new show. Mazel tov with the studio. Mazel tov with your raising of the money. May you be blessed.
Thank you. We wish you many, many more welcomes back on the show.
Happy holidays.
To you as well, to you and yours.
Happy Channukah.
This week's episode is brought to you by your local community center. Please swing by, it'll make your grandma so happy.
Welcome back.
Listening?
Now, our section, Kibitz Till We Close.
This is basically where we just kibitz with each other.
No, we don't kibitz with each other. We just argue with each other.
I thought arguing is kibitzing.
Well, there's a difference between arguing and kibitzing.
Well, how do you know the difference if you don't know what the kibitzing is?
I can't tell you the difference between this and that every single time.
All right. Let's start with the kibitz till we close.
Today we're going to talk about the meaning of a Jewish star.
What are we talking about?
It's
the meaning of a Jewish star for?
A Jewish star is not a two-dimensional object.
It's one-dimensional?
You know, it's a three-dimensional object. It's not just a two-dimensional object.
Look, I never paid attention in geometry class.
I don't know where Noah got the wood from his ark to build an ark. But this is my question. Was it environmentally friendly?
How could it be environmentally friendly? You had a whole lot of animals on there.
Of course it was environmentally friendly.
You don't know that.
I know, of course. Well,
I want to know.
Then I ask you this. Now, tell me, what animal should Noah have not brought on the ark?
I tell you one animal he shouldn't have brought on, mosquitoes.
What's wrong with the mosquito? Mosquitoes are good.
They do? They sting you. It hurts. It itches. It's terrible.
Good. Thanks so much for listening to JPR.
We were thrilled that you tuned in, and we hope that you tell all your friends about us.
And remember that if you're thinking about giving money,
you should give a little money.
Give a little bit of money to JPR.
And if you're not thinking about giving money, you should still give a little.
You should still give a little bit of money. $18.
Your mother would be very
Maybe
proud.
$1.80.
Maybe $1.80. Maybe $180.
Send us some sardines. Coupons, we take coupons.
We do take coupons.
Coupons are very nice.
We like to buy one, get one free coupons.
Oh, that's such a good coupon.
They're very nice.
Very nice coupons to have.
They make your wallet very big, though.
Very big wallet. Thanks so much for listening to JPR, the radio of the past
and the future. Our next section is brought to you by Federation, who says, we got enough money, give some to these guys over at the JPR.